Okay, that's enough of that. So, welcome back. This is Last Chance Books by, oh man, this is Rodkey. I think, yeah, it's Kelsey Rodkey. I took off the cover because it, kept kind of, slipping around. Yeah, it's Kelsey Rodkey. And we're on chapter 3. Get into that. And so far, kind of confusing. I know the voices are kind of confusing. Kind of tempted to ditch them. But as long as, you think they're able to differentiate enough, I've done my job. So, let's just get into it. So far, we already found out that, one of the characters was a traitor. And I was like, oh dang, we didn't even, get into, the You've Got Mail. I thought it was gonna be, and then she found out, once they were, boyfriend, girlfriend, that he was lying, but, not really lying, because, she didn't know. So, let's get into it. Remember to, and not, no. And subscribe to join the audiobook family. Okay, that was a little aggressive. My leg. Okay, let's go. B&M doesn't have a parking lot, and on days like this, I really resent that. Because today, it is I'm changing her voice, by the way, to just that. This is how she's going to talk. Narrative. Because this is in her perspective. So, I'm going to just do kind of, if you read The Magic Finger, I'm going to do, that girl's voice, but without the British accent. So, let's just get into it. B&M doesn't have a parking lot, and on days like this, I really resent that. Because today, it is in its attempt to go to... Okay, wait. I need to... Sorry, guys. This is 2 minutes before we... Okay, there we go. Getting real close. Trying to adjust the chair. I think that's just where I was. This is a struggle. Okay, that was a lot of loud. Okay. B&M doesn't have a parking lot, and on days like this, I really resent that, because today, in its attempt to be out bad my previous shift, the only available spot along the street is right in front of Prologue. It's 8:30 in the morning on Thursdays when Astrid and I arrive together. Only a few stores around B&M are open, Prologue not included. I go through the process of parallel parking without a look at the dark store windows, even though I want to throw a rock through them. That's hilarious. Astrid doesn't normally work the same shift as I do, but last night she called for a mandatory staff meeting that surprised just about everyone, and I asked if we could carpool since I was opening anyway. I woke to texts from my coworkers asking what was going on, Sophia and Zelda, if they were getting fired, Robbie, and whether the time of the staff meeting, 9 in the morning, the next very day. Sometimes I don't know if this was very well written sometimes. 9 in the morning, the very next day, was a mistake. Everyone, including Benny, who would have just asked Astrid himself. Okay, sorry. I'm honestly, this is okay. They were getting fired, Robbie, and whether the time of the staff meeting, 9 in the morning, the very next day, was a mistake. Everyone, including Benny, who could have just asked Astrid himself. Okay. It's just me, guys. A mistake it was not. An inconvenience it was. There are hardly any cars driving down Oak Street at this hour, but we stop to check both ways before running across. I insert my key the entire way into the lock before pulling it out just slightly and turning. The smell of books has long since faded into a distant memory. The sight of shelf after shelf, books crammed into any available space, and the quiet, except for the groan of the door shutting, feels magical. I stuff my keys into my bag and throw it onto the counter, where it slides and hits the register, causing a jingle sound I hope Astrid didn't catch while she was setting down the donuts and coffee she bought for the staff. Ravi forgot to pull the coins from the register. I wonder if the bills are still in there. Still in there, too. He's so forgetful. I'm convinced that specific part of his brain has never existed. And if that were true, it would be okay, but it's not. I never once seen a doctor's note about it. While Astrid busies herself taking out the trash, something else Ravi should have done last night before, but probably has a great excuse for it, like he forgot. I tally up the money left in the register and slip the excess into the safe. When she comes back, we go through the motions of cleaning and prepping the store, dancing around each other with practice and ease. Last chance book sales, she says while sweeping the floor. Go! It's a game we play when it's been a while since we've worked together. We try to see who can sell the most unfortunate sounding books and/or books with terrible covers, and we have them secretly listed from I'd pay a quarter to will never sell. Oh, I sold How to Know If You're Bad at Kissing to Jeffrey Peters' mom, the lady that snipped at you for not coming to any football games last year. Remind me, she says with a smile. Is that fiction or self-help? I think she thought it was a self-help, and that's what really matters. And you owe me $1 for it. I match her smile and flick the light switch, which kicks the ceiling fan on. Your turn. You're going to be simultaneously happy and sad. She bends down to brush the dirt onto the dustpan. I got wiped front to back. I stop organizing the window display and face her, my mouth sagging open. Shut up. It was surprisingly easy. I just sat by the register for an entire shift and waited until the right person happened upon it. Who else could possibly be the right person? White Front to Back, a memoir by Neil Cusack, the original car wash guy, had the not-so-rare terrible title and cover combo. It's worth $5 and rests in the subcategory under Will Never Sale called Maybe as a Joke Gift. A middle-aged man looking to start his own business. I said I read it before starting Books and More. Grandma started Books and More. We never said we couldn't lie to sell a book. Then I'm signing all of them and saying they're autographed by the author. Astrid shrugs and dumps her dirt pile into the trash behind the counter. If that's what you have to do, I always thought you were a stronger salesperson than that, though. I shake my head as she lifts layer after layer of her sheer top. Layer of her sheer top until her jean pockets are visible. She pulls out her phone, holding it with two hands because she has a habit of dropping it. Checks the time. Where is everyone? It's not 9 yet. I open the box of donuts and pick out the only brownie batter-filled one, which I insisted she get. Are you okay? You seem, I search for the word, taking a bite. Tense. What's the meeting about? She waves away my question, which makes me tense. Where's Benny? He should be here by now. I'm not sure. The battery in my brother radar must have died. In the ultimate show of brattiness, he insisted on getting dropped off by Sterling just so he could get an extra 30 minutes of sleep. But then the door slams in the back and he comes to the front with Sophia, who looks like she just stepped out of one of those really great makeup tutorials on YouTube. She smiles, revealing bright white teeth between her apple red lips, and flips her hair over her shoulder. Morning, Madeline, Astrid. She darts between us, shrugging her fringed bag to the floor, and searches for a donut. Her hand moves over the box like a claw in one of those unbeatable games at the run-down bowling alley on Trindle. Thank you for your punctuality, Sophia, Astrid says, returning the smile. Sophia is always punctual. She's 26 and has $12,000 of student loan debt to pay off. Still, she keeps us updated on a weekly basis. Being late isn't an option for any of her 3 jobs, one of which is constantly trying to get her to work more. You guys didn't happen to see anyone else back there? Then he pushes Sophia out of the way so he can grab a donut before her. Just Robbie, but he was debating not coming in because he thinks he's getting fired. Robbie's worked at Books and More for 3 years since he was my age, and even though he's in college, he comes home from YTI every other weekend, plus his holiday breaks to work. Not even I plan to be that dedicated to B&M while I'm at the Shippensburg, and I'm trying to get Astrid to make me manager. I'll go get him. I move past the shelves to the staff room, which smells like burnt popcorn no matter how long we air it out, and through the door leading to the alley behind B&M. Robbie stands there, cigarette in hand, talking to Zelda, who plays with the strap of one of her 500 totes she got at a recent book convention. They stop talking as soon as they see me. You guys coming in, or do you need to talk more? Or do you need to talk more about me? Oh, please, Zelda said with an eye roll. I'll talk about you to your face. Robbie fidgets next to her. It's not 9 yet, he says in an agonized voice. I struggle to pull my phone from my shorts. They weren't this tight last summer, and I'm really regretting wearing them today. It's 9:58 a.m. You know, if you're getting fired, Astrid wouldn't hold a staff meeting so everyone could witness it, right? This isn't some reality show elimination. Good point. He flicks his cigarette to the ground and stomps on it. There was way too many discarded butts back there. And I know they're not all from him, because this alley plays host to all the businesses on the street. But he really has to stop doing that. He wrings his hand. Madeline, I might have forgotten. Already took care of it. Thanks. He smiles weakly and walks into the staff room. Did someone steal money or something? Zelda twirls her long blonde hair around her fist. Robbie probably just misplaced it. I shrug, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. Like anxiety isn't pulling in my gut. She didn't say. Oh, weird. She lets her hair unfurl. I got hold for applause if you want to read it for me. After me. I'm interviewing the author in 2 weeks. Zelda's YouTube channel, Required Reading, started as a hobby after I introduced her to the Discontent series 5 years ago. Before that, she wasn't really a reader, but then the series changed her mind. She recorded a video spouting off her feelings about it in her general Zelda fashion, and her channel grew from 1 subscriber, me, to nearly 10,000. I nudged her playfully. I knew I kept you around for a reason. Publishers send Zelda a crap ton of advanced copies in hope that she'll review the book on her channel as promotion. I could probably get my fair share as a bookseller, but it takes emails and crossed fingers and rejections. And rejection has never sat well with me. Zelda doesn't have to ask anymore, so I pretty much use her as a library. Our friendship's more than that, though. On the shifts that never seem to end, she and I play guilty pleasure songs over the store speakers and see who can last the longest without laughing, especially when customers come in. My record is the entirety of Gangnam Style, while Zelda did the dance behind someone I was helping. And, even though it makes my skin crawl to see books out of their rightful place, she sometimes leaves me messages on the shelves. She'll spell out words with the first letter of the book titles, usually swear words. Putting them back makes the time pass more quickly. She walks inside, her hair whipping me in the face when it gets caught on the breeze. I never thought about writing out a message with the first title of the book. That's kind of a good idea. But a lot of them start with the, so that would kind of take a while. Guys, I'm stumbling through this. I'm just going to try to be a little bit better. It's not really written in a way that you read it aloud, and I feel like it needed a little bit more brushing up because it's very stumbly. And, like, no hate on the author, but I think it could have used a little more, like, editing and revising. So that's just my thoughts. She walks inside, her hair whipping me in the face when it gets caught on the breeze. The only other worker missing is Henry, the 50-something pain in my butt with no spatula awareness. It's possible there's traffic, or he's walking from a poor parking spot, or some other totally reasonable excuse for running behind 2 minutes. But as I say, if you're not early, you're late. Henry came in the front door. Astrid says. I jump, heart thumping fast, and turn toward where she hangs out the doorway. Come inside, and we'll get started. When we arrive back in the main room, there's an obvious tension that keeps my coworkers quiet and stiff. Random staff meetings could be very good or very bad. Obviously, I'm hoping for good. An author visit, some kind of puff piece in the local paper about how great our generational bookstore is that leads to Astrid announcing me as manager and implementation of a staff book club. I'm thinking of more reasons why Astrid would call this meeting when she spits out the worst sentence I've ever heard, and I've heard Dahlia say she likes the burnt edges of brownies. Thanks for being here, everyone. I wish I had better news to deliver, but I guess there's no reason to dance around the subject. Our lease is up for renewal at the end of August, and the pricing is increasing by a lot. There's an uncertain silence that fills the void her words leave. My coworkers exchange confused glances, but I stare straight at Astrid unblinking. Okay, I say, hoping she'll explain or tell us she's joking. And? We just don't make enough to renew the new rate. Our monthly sales have decreased, and we're not churning enough profit to stay afloat with more expensive bills and rent. The lease I've signed 10 years ago was at a much lower price. Okay, and everyone looks at me like I just corrected a teacher. My heart hammers in my chest, creating a rude rhythm that speeds up my breathing. What is she getting at? Astrid sighs. I can't believe she's saying this for the first time in front of everyone else. Benny and I deserve to know before the likes of Henry. Books and More will be closing at the end of the summer, she says slowly, with a stern expression on her face that I haven't seen since I was 14 and took her credit card to buy myself a new iPhone. I was not expecting this when I woke up this morning. I expected donuts and good news. Maybe I'm being dramatic and selfish, but it feels like my life is being destroyed in this very instant. This is the entire reunion of Astrid's past, and the entire reunion of my future. No, I must have misunderstood, misheard, hallucinated. I'm still trying to process her words when she's moved on to her fourth sentence. It's Prologue's fault, I blurt out. I refuse to even glance in the store's direction. It's no one's fault, Astrid says, holding her hand to stop me. Times have changed. I want to let all of you know, in case you want to start looking for employment elsewhere. I can't provide it for much longer unless we have some miracle boom of sales. There's a chance we could stay open then? I ask. She looks like she's waffling between the truth and something sugar-coated that could rot my teeth. Even if we could manage the rent, we still have to pay our bills and maintain a cushion. At this rate, that's probably not going to happen. Probably. Why am I the only one hanging on to her every word? The only one looking for a positive spin to this? The rest of them were just standing and staring. How much money do we need per month? What's the amount? She tilts her head. Maybe if she didn't want a pathetic meltdown, she would have told me in private, before everyone else. I feel like a slap to the face would hurt less than finding out at the same time as the rest of the staff. As if I'm just a staff member. I'm one amazing display of responsibility away from being a manager. But with Astrid's defeatist attitude, I'm most likely to become a mythical creature than someone with skills to be commended for. Henry steps forward into our little circle and bends in a weird little bow before Astrid. Thanks for everything, but I'm going to call it quits. His eyes flick to the rest of us. Bye, everyone. And that little butt just walks out the front door. A waft of armpit, the only sign he was ever here. I would have known from the start that he'd be a flake when I saw him dog-ear a book page instead of using the perfectly good and free bookmarks available by the register. It's okay, Astrid said, almost sounding like she means it. Anyone else? She specifically turns towards Sophia, who avoids her gaze, her mouth falling in a frown. If anyone else is going to leave, it'll be her. She has major bills to pay, while the rest of us, apart from Astrid, don't, at least not don't, at least not yet, not seriously. Zelda only ever used the store as her way of having street cred from the book community and some non-parent funded things, like her piercing and the new tattoo, an intricate black and white sort of hand with an eye in the palm that, in Judaism, is meant to ward off evil. She bought herself as a grad present. She's not going anywhere because she doesn't have to, because she's a book lover. If B&M did close, she probably wouldn't get another job since she's going to Penn State for film at the end of the summer anyway. In less than a year, Ravi will be looking for a new job, one that'll utilize his culinary degree. Silently, he licks donut icing off his fingers, while probably ruminating on the taste and not the loss of his job. Astrid is probably pulling a Dahlia and being dramatic, though the store might not even be closing, not for certain. Let's get back to the money, I say. How much? She leans against the counter, her arms crossed. We need at least 1,000 more each month when the new lease starts. Part of me dies inside at hearing the actual number, but another more prominent part of me is angry at how resigned she already sounds. So the lease is up at the end of August. We have 3 months to save up. I stop to do the math. A crap ton of money. How are we supposed to come up with $1,000 more a month indefinitely? Well, we just have to. If we tried, my thoughts scramble and wither in agony. I don't know what to do. But this can't be the end. I'm supposed to be the third generation of Moore to run the store. I can't do that if there's no store. I don't want to keep you all any longer, Astrid says, perking up. I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for coming in this morning. Take the donuts before I eat what's left all by myself. She turns to me. Madeline, open the store, please. Madeline, open the store, please. Zelda and Ravi awkwardly exit out the front, my best friend miming that she'll text me as Astrid and Sophia move to the back. A customer comes in and starts asking me for book recommendations for her nephew who's turning 12. I pull 3 different middle grade books for her, and, without a care in the world, she buys all 3, like it's nothing. Like that sale didn't just deliver my crushed heart some blood to pump. Sophia leaves the staff room a few minutes later, her mascara smeared around her eyes. She gives me a tight smile and an apology, then disappears. So sad. My anger mixes with sadness into a gross emotional stew in my stomach. Benny works on restocking the shelves and organizing them, but I don't engage in conversation. He's quiet, but it doesn't feel the same as my quiet. I haven't seen Astrid since she met with Sophia. I don't forgive her for not telling me, but I won't say anything while I'm at work. All I can do today, during the longest shift of my life, is think about ways to save the store. And that's what I do until 5 o'clock, when I leave without a word. About halfway through the day, when Astrid came out of the break room to give me my lunch, she told me that Sterling would be picking her and Benny up when the store closed, so I could feel free to leave after my shift. I normally wouldn't care about spending my entire day here, but today it makes my skin crawl, so I accept this one little peace offering. We didn't discuss sales, but I counted every single one of them. We made 178 while I was working. I'll solidify our plan at the end of the week when I have the totals and a list of expenses. I exit B&M to the same humid temperature as I entered. My feet shuffle along the sun-cooked sidewalk, the heat radiating into the soles of my Vans as I pass between 2 parked cars and the check road. In 4 giant strides, I'm at my car, parked outside Prologue. Only this time the store is open, and Jasper's stupid face stares at me, all wide-eyed and guilty through the window, as he strings up a sign that reads, "You should be reading," in hand-painted letters. My sign. He ripped off my sign and didn't even do a good job of it. All the anger I felt today comes rushing to the surface, making my skin hot and my face red, so bad that I can see it reflected back at me in the store window. Then I rush up and slam my fist against the glass. What the heck? I point to the sign as he didn't know he stole it from me. That's my sign. Oh, point to the sign as if he didn't know he stole it from me. Jasper leaves the window and peers outside in a heartbeat. He's wearing a lilac polo with trippy little triangles all over it. Please, don't bang on the glass, miss. I wouldn't if you didn't give me a reason to, sir. I stepped toward him, my finger pushing into his chest. You stole my sign. I look back to the window and see the same books displayed as what I put out on the new arrivals table on Tuesday. You stole everything. Well, not everything. I didn't put out the book you told me not to buy. He scratches the back of his neck, awkwardly smiling at a woman who passes us. 20% off new releases until Friday, he tells her. She oohs and keeps walking. In my defense, he says to me, they're new, and if you go to Barnes & Noble, they'd have most of the same books out too, and not because they stole the idea from you. I mean, that's a little conceited. The rage. Oh crap, I can't contain it. It's about to. No, you stole everything, right down to our customers. Was that your store's goal from the start? Move to our street, steal our customers, do everything that you can do to keep them, and then what? Run us out of business? He frowns. No. Prologue's got nothing on B&M. Let me make that clear. If any store is going out of business, it's going to be yours. You guys are thieves, and not even real book people. So I fell a little flat on the ending there. But I think my point has been made. I will not stand idly by this disgrace of a bookstore while this disgrace of a bookstore kills my store while trying to beat us. They put out new releases early. For heaven's sake. I know, because people on Yelp complimented them for it. And sure, now as I'm looking at Jasper's bewildered face, maybe I recognize that I'm projecting some feelings onto him in Prologue, but ultimately, it is their fault. A little bit. In some way. They're not to blame. I'm not sure what to say, Jasper says, deflating. He looks like he's a little scared of me, and he should be. All wide eyes and slack jaw. You seem like the type of person who's calmed down by the small books. Maybe you want to come inside, and I grab onto his pole right under the bottom button and yank him forward. He's got half a foot on me, but I feel taller. I look into his eyes, determination staring at him from mine. And ignore the way he smells like something less chemical than the body spray over the guy. Oh. And ignore the way he smells like something less chemical than the body spray every other guy drowns himself in. Get ready to call your store Epilogue, because this is going to be its last chapter. I shove him away, unlock my car, and drive away without another glance in his direction. Holy crap, that was a long chapter. I stumbled a lot, but thank you for sticking it out with me. I'm excited for this book. I think I'll get more into the flow of how it's written, and hopefully be able to, not mess up. So thank you guys for listening. Tell other people, subscribe, like the channel, and just join the audiobook family. There's other channels out there with lots of books. But if you want a wide range, go follow them and me and just, subscribe, I guess. But thank you guys for listening, and what should be my catchphrase that I say at the end of videos? I kind of used to say just smile and keep the groove. Make it real smooth. Okay, anyway, guys. Bye. Ciao for now. Thanks for listening. See you for the next chapter or book or whatever you're listening to.